So you guys might remember when we did this video some time ago about Thinah Zungu, right? When he was supposedly appointed to be a pastor over this particular church. And so there's been a new story that one of you guys sent me and said, Ricky, look at the story. And I thought, interesting. Now, this was apparently, the article was put out yesterday, and it's this article right here. It says that pastor says asks for tough videos. Now, for those that are outside the country, this is the words that they use. Um, like in South Africa, it has become a word to describe people doing adult things on, yeah, doing adult things like the DVD do's and all that kind of jazz. So at first, when I saw the headline, I was like, wait, he has a tape. I was not understanding. So put it back up, and it says, Pastor says, sorry for, okay, let's go down. And then it says, award-winning gospel star, gospel star. Now remember, Thinah is the same person that likes doing these things of collaborating with like sangomas to do their events, and so you get hired to go and do those events. I've always found that kind of like I don't understand. So what's the what's the whole thing over there? And says he has Thinah Zungu has apologized for his of sins on a teleno something. I think it's a television channel or an online platform or something. Okay, yeah, it looks like it. It looks like it's an ETV thing. Okay. Thinah Zungu Melusi on the telenova Mother of All on ETV's V EVOD or something like that. I think that's a platform for online content from ETV. ETV is a South African, one of the big South African platforms out there. So it looks like they have a show called Mother of All, which Thinah, who's a gospel musician, has been is gonna be featuring or is featuring. I don't know when this thing starts. I have never even heard of it or anything. And so he's apologizing for his sins, which involve doobity doos over them. All right. Someone will say, Ricky, we are all adults here. Why don't you just say, yeah, there are certain things that I just don't get too much. I don't try to get myself too used to speaking like. Okay, I have a certain level of respect. They're adults. It's my mothers out here that are watching me. So let me be respectful towards that. And I don't know where a person is watching. Okay, you might have decided to just start watching this video in a taxi, and then someone is there busy saying words like that. Okay, so that's why I don't say certain things. Right? Yes, it's not that I don't know you're adults. I know. You've never thought of that context, eh? You've never thought of that context. You've never been in a taxi and then you are watching a video and then someone says something that, you know, you would have been okay watching it somewhere else, but not in that context. You understand now. All right. He says, but not everyone was happy with Thinah's character. Okay, so I guess the character that he plays. So I guess the show is already airing. Saying it was inappropriate for him to play the character as he is a pastor. Okay, others supported him and they believe acting is just acting. Okay, so others they were like, okay, he's playing a character, we're clear on that, but others were not having it, not even a bit. The article then goes to say Thinah, who was officially anointed a pastor of Ark Fellowship Church, based in Inanda, north of Johannesburg, of Durban, told the Daily Sun he shot his sins before he was anointed pastor early in 2023. So he did this entire jazz like early this year. Okay. All right. He says he did it before. Okay. I would like to apologize to those who find the role I play as Melusi in the new telenovela inappropriate, but I shot it before I became a pastor. Okay, I have a question. If that's the principle you're putting forward, right? If you are acting and you're clear that you are at work, where seven, if he said that, I'll be like, okay, so there might be other scenes that they might put him in that might be uncomfortable, but his conscience sets him right, right? But it's the pointing out when he wants to point out that he is a pastor, but he did this before he was put forward as a pastor. I have a question. If they put you in a role like that, or a role where you are kissing someone, what then? What's the explanation? Or do you not take the role? Or what's going to? Because the explanation, it for me, it sounds like the explanation sounds to me like it's just me getting away from it, and I'll explain why. Let me show you. Okay, if a person is clear that they're acting, like if that was his explanation, I'll be like, oh, okay. But his explanation is that he became a pastor after he had shot this. You'll see why I'm pointing that out in a second. He says, as a creative person, I was invited to play the role because I am in an act. I'm in the act, and acting uh, is part of my description. So that's your thing. Okay. People must also understand that I had no bad intention with the character. He said, okay, so you had no bad intentions. All right, it's a character. How do you hold? It's a character. How do you hold a certain intention towards a character that they are going to write later on? They might write new scenes or new ideas into it. Okay. The hit maker said the biggest mistake was that the show aired after he became a pastor. So, how is it a mistake when you shot it? Okay. The bottom line is that I apologize to those who thought my character was inappropriate because the scenes I played, yes, I got paid and played a story of someone basically who loves money. We all love money, blah, 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 blah. He goes back to that. He goes back to pointing that. He says, Thinah said people must forgive him. People must forgive him and forget because he has already played the character. Okay? So just forgive me and forget about it. Okay? So this is the part that caught my attention. Okay? But going forward, he won't play such characters and things. So okay, so he's clear on that. He's clear that okay, uh, I was playing this before I became pastor, but going forward, I won't. As a creative person, I will continue to act, but I will be selective of the character that I play because I am now a leader. Okay, and so that was quite interesting. The part of seeing himself as a leader, interesting. The part that kind of catches me is the part that Thinah says right here. Thinah said people must forgive and forget. I played the role, I played the role. The part that kind of caught my attention. Now, we might differ in how we see this particular part. I say that I found that part interesting because you act how you act, and then you have an expectation of how other people should act. Or take it like this. Yeah, you just forget about it. Just forget about it. And yeah, I played the role, I played the role. It's like, it's quite an interesting perspective for me, for a person who is a pastor. Now, personally, I did say that. Do I think it's called? It sounded dodgy. It sounded like, if you remember that article that came out when he actually think, I said that sounds like a person who was told you are pastor, and he doesn't understand I said he didn't understand in that particular article. Didn't understand that a lot of people can put on you a title. Yeah. And people can see you in authority, or you're a pastor, you are a gospel musician or someone in authority. And they say, oh yeah, this person fits to be this. Because you are a person who has influence. People can do that because you are just in influence. They can label you a pastor or something like that because you're a person in influence. But also it helps you stay in their church and so forth and so forth. You know, like those type of things where they give you positions so that you stay in the church. And so for him, that's why I was interested in hearing how does he see it. But then for him to say, no, I did it because I was before I was thinking. So he didn't describe it as a character that he was playing. He just described it as if it was anything like the person I am right now, I won't play that character. But then to hold that view and then say, oh no, forget about it. Can you dictate like how other people should see that particular thing? I just thought that was quite an interesting one. For me, when Thinah came out and that article came where he was saying that other people were seeing it in him, and it was kind of like a selection thing that other people did, I question, is that not a podium for a calling? Not would people put you there? Then we listened to a message, you'll remember, we listened to a message where he was preaching and I was like, this preaching also sounds sus. The preaching was not make sure, was very motivating or whatnot. It didn't sound like, a message you expect from a pulpit. It sounded like motivational speaking. Now, you know my position on things like that. I'm very particular about people saying that what they are doing is preaching. Okay? Yeah, you can call it preaching. Unless you're just motivating people out here. I thought this was quite an interesting one. Yeah. The pastor now. And now there's all this thing that he wants to do, wants to act and whatnot and stuff like that. But he's still struggling to make concept of his job when he's acting and his position as a thing. Okay, you love acting, go act, right? Yes. You don't come back looking for approval. You go act because you want to act. But define yourself as a person who is in the industry. Define so that we know. But you don't dictate. You don't dictate. Oh, no. They must just do like this. No, you don't dictate. You can tell us what you are and be like, oh, okay, that's you. But for me, when that thing of the calling part came, when he said that people told him he had a calling, and when he said people were telling him, and then that was the reason why he ended up taking the thing, I was like, then that's not a calling. If you guys can remember the video of him being anointed, we read the article and there were points there that were not made sure. And so the same way, when I'm reading this particular article, it sounds like Thinah doesn't know yet how to handle this thing. So he just says, you know what, just deal with it. I've done it. Okay, that's a very interesting one. By the way, I wouldn't have seen this particular entire thing because I kept looking around for what show this is and I couldn't see anything. So I was like, what show are they talking about? I couldn't see any particular, I didn't see a clip. I didn't see just a show. I didn't see any clip or a trailer or something like that. So I was wondering, what kind of a show is this that doesn't even have like a trailer? So maybe it's out there. Maybe it's like a Netflix version of ETV or something like that. But it looks like a few people were not happy with it. Maybe it aired. I checked on Twitter. I didn't see nothing. And so if you did see the episode, do tell us, what was the episode like? What was going on there? Was it like a full-blown on scene or what was going? But also, if you are at work, define. For me, a Christian is a Christian everywhere he goes. At work, whatnot, and so. But define what it is that you do. Okay? Yes. Personally, I always say, I have a difficulty when a person cannot fully describe. I have a difficulty when a person cannot fully describe what they do. When you can't pinpoint, That line there, for me, that line, no, 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 I did it before. Before I became a pastor. So you did it before you became a pastor. That line, I just don't know how to put it in words. It sounds off. It sounds like you don't know what you want to do, you know? Yeah, because you wouldn't say, no, I did it before I was a pastor, if it was something that you wanted to do in the beginning. Yeah, tell me what you think. It's the Rich Reality Show, the daily Christian commentary video. Yeah, no, Thinah, what do you want to do? Explain for us. Hmm? Now you're out here explaining tough sins and all those kind of things. What is it you want to do? And who are you in that particular position? When you are there acting, who are you? Because you don't sound sure. And I say you don't sound sure because, no, I did before. It sounds off. Or is it just me? Yeah, tell me.